Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is Prepper, like I promised. Sorry for the technical difficulty in the beginning. That was my screw up, not YouTube's. As much as I like to throw YouTube under the bus, it actually wasn't YouTube this time. So, Prepper, he lives upstate somewhere. Won't give out his location. Close enough for me to visit, I'll be visiting him. Sorry, in probably a couple weeks or so for hunting season.
Sounds good.
Again, guys, he is a YouTuber. Obviously, he's been on for how long now?
Probably like 3 years.
3 years, and he, like myself and a few others, are now blowing up because of what's going on. Listen, I like to tell people we got lucky. And not lucky in a good sense either, just lucky that with everything going on, everyone's paying attention to preppers now because, I guess we're the fad for the week or whatever it is. Though this is one long ass week. So let's get into the whole questionnaire. Now, at the end, guys, we're going to take any questions you have at the end of this broadcast or Q&A. Sorry. Greg, they're saying your volume is low, so...
My volume's low?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw that. That's weird.
I mean, you sound fine to me, but then again...
It's weird. I'm trying to get closer to the microphone, so hopefully that'll help. I don't know.
Alright, that... You know what? Listen, guys. So, for those of you that say his mic's low, you're just going to have to pay attention to him. I'm going to have to fix something on my end. It's got to be... Because you're just... Canadian Prepper was low, too. For whatever reason. So, hopefully, I can fix it on my end. But I'm not going to touch it right now. Because I don't want to screw it up. Alright, so... let's get into it. So, first question. And these are pretty much the same questions I asked Prepper Princess and Canadian Prepper. I'm asking you the same. I did change a couple because of location, obviously.
Okay.
Right? So, how long have you been prepping?
I would say seriously prepping probably like 10 years. 2010-ish is when I really started getting into it.
All right, very good. 2010. So, wow. 10 years now. All right.
Yeah.
Just like you said. What inspired you to prep? What inspired you to prepare?
Honestly, when I saw the financial collapse and in 2008, and not trying to get too political, but when Obama got elected, just seeing the way that the way our country was going, and not just our country, but around the world, with Russia and I think back then Russia invaded Georgia, so it just showed me that the world is very unstable, and at any time society as we know it could change, very rapidly. So that's when I really started prepping. When I first started prepping, I didn't really do too much with the food storage and stuff like that. I was more focused on bug out bags and things like that.
Okay.
Then, once I got more into it, that's when I started really putting back food and water and things like that.
All right, very good. So, next question. What are you prepared for now? So, being that, obviously when you first start as a prepper, you have like this one mindset. And then you get seasoned, if you will. What are you prepared for now?
That's a good question. I think when I first started prepping, I was more into like EMPs and World War III and stuff like that. But I think now I'm kind of more just like generally prepared, rather than just prepping for one specific thing. I try to be more of like a generally prepared person. So no matter what happens, I'm ready for anything, basically,
All right.
Because I just feel like, at any time, it doesn't make sense to just prep for one thing because you never know what could happen, like, nobody knew that this virus would happen, I didn't think it would happen, I was prepping for other things like, civil unrest, and then all of a sudden this virus came and it took me by surprise. So I try to be as well rounded and think of as many different scenarios as I can.
Very good. All right, guys. Quick question: how do I sound? Because one person complained that I was low too. I just turned my mic volume up, so let me know how I sound to you guys. Other than that, we're gonna move on because, like I said, 30 seconds. Then they'll start popping up on the side over here. All right. So this is a question that I'm curious as how you're going to answer it. What is the difference between urban preppers and suburban preppers, or country preppers, if you will?
That's a good question. I would say that urban preppers, at least like watching your channel, I noticed some differences. Like, you guys are more focused on bugging out and your bug out bags, and I think rural preppers or suburban preppers are more focused on, I would say, like security, like property security, and maybe dealing with potentially firefights and things like that, versus when you're in a urban environment, there's no place where you're going to be getting into firefights. There's buildings everywhere, but if you're out in the country and you have a group of bad guys and they're armed, that's something that you got to think about, obviously. So definitely the bugging out thing, and property security, those are probably the two big differences I noticed.
All right, that definitely makes sense, because I'd rather be, I guess, in the country or suburban area than here, as you can see what's going on.
Right.
So, what is your favorite firearm? What is your favorite firearm?
I would probably say I have a few, but it's a tough choice. I would probably say either my 44 mag revolver or 500 Smith & Wesson. One of those two would probably be my favorite.
Okay. What is your then that answers your favorite caliber question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, favorite caliber, it depends on it depends on what we're like, what the gun is going to be used for, I guess.
Okay.
So I don't know if like for prepping, I would say my favorite caliber would probably be probably a 44 mag, I would say, or maybe a 300 Win mag.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. And do you have an EDC kit? I know you used to work in the city, so
Right.
I'm assuming you had one or something close to it.
Yeah. Also, when I worked in the city, I would actually bring my bug out bag down. I would have to strip some things out of it because of New York City laws, obviously, so I couldn't have like my full-size, 6-inch blade knife. I couldn't bring like spare ammo. I couldn't bring a pistol, so I stripped some things out of there, but I pretty much had like the basics covered, water, the 5 C's of survival. I had all that, canteen, cordage,
Okay.
But my EDC, I kept it very simple. I would literally just have a small knife, like a legal knife, a fixed blade knife that I could draw quickly. And I had that on my belt, which it was only like a 3-inch blade knife. And then I would just keep a flashlight in my pocket, and then if I was going into the office, I would just bring a stainless steel canteen and a ferro rod. So that was pretty much just those 4 things. That's it. Very simple,
That's good. I like that. Keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of us don't. So, how was COVID handled in your area? Like, you see what happened in New York. They went
Right.
ballistic, shutting everything down, and now the city is. The city was headed towards Deathville already. This didn't help. So, how was your area handling COVID?
I would say it's kind of a mixed bag. I would say like it really depended on the business owners. Like some business owners actually defied the lockdown orders.
Okay, that's good.
Like when actually there's a couple of gun shops in my area when Cuomo said that all gun shops were non-essential. there were a few gun shops that were still doing business, um, and then it's even like that today. It really depends on like the business owner. Some of them really enforce the masks. Some of them don't care. It like really depends on, who owns the business. I don't know what else really. I mean, it was really eerie. Even like though I live in a rural area, the roads were like really isolated. Like you would go out in the middle of the day or at night, and it was like like a winter storm was out there. There were no cars on the road. It was really weird.
Well, I mean, you saw some of the videos in Manhattan, and we see how Manhattan's always bustling, and even during the day, it did get weird. I hope we don't go through that again, but I think we are. So, what I hope for and what happens, obviously, are two different things. So quick intermission, real fast, if you will. First of all, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button or the thumbs up, whatever it is, or hit the thumbs down, whatever makes you happy. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Secondly, moving forward, I will be doing, commercials, if you will. So there are two freeze-dried food companies that I am an affiliate of. So obviously they want me to do commercials. Now, they want me to do commercials in my regular videos, which I will not be doing. I like the tempo and the movement of my videos. I'm not changing that. So don't worry. Though the links will be in the description section below. That's it. As far as live streams go, I will be having commercials in the live stream. So there'll be two for the two different companies. That makes everyone happy. I will be doing separate videos on both companies. One is called My Patriot Food Supply, and the other one is Nutrient Food Supply. They're both freeze-dried food companies. So again, they're affiliate programs. So if you guys buy through my link, I think that's how it works, I get a portion of that. I'm also looking to do something with that portion as far as moving the website along. So I'm getting rid of the Patreon $3 web support and moving forward with the website using the affiliate program. So it's part of growing, guys. That's pretty much what it does. And I don't want to ask for any more favors. You guys have done enough favors for me with the super chats and just subscribing to my channel. So that's that. And other than that, guys, also please head over to Angryprepper's channel if you haven't already. Like and subscribe to his channel. Like I said, the guy is good. He's squared away. Everything is not doom and gloom, which is nice, because there are a lot of preppers heading that direction, and Greg here doesn't do that. So that's that. So let's get back to it. Dusk777, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. So actually, if you had a bug out bag, right? I already asked that question. No, I didn't ask that question.
I don't think you asked me that one. No.
Right. So, do you have a bug out bag?
Yeah, I do. I don't have a bug out bag. I have what I call just like a multi-purpose survival bag. So, like when I first started prepping, I would have like a separate, like 3 separate bags. I would have like an inch bag. I would have a get home bag, and then I would have like, a bug out bag. I had like 2 or 3 different bags, and now I just consolidated it all into one. So this way, no matter where I go, I just bring that backpack with me, and I don't have to think about which one to take. I just have one pack, and I know that, I can survive for a while with whatever I have in there. I don't have to like figure out which pack to take. I like things to be simple, so I just have like one bag pretty much.
No, that's good. No, I mean that's very good, because when you start prepping, you initially go through like 8,000 different bags, right? And then you start using the excuse, man, I want that bag, I want this bag, And I still do it now. I just I make the excuse, I'm gonna use this as a bug out bag just to buy it. Yeah. Meanwhile, I use it just to carry my everyday shit.
Well, I remember one of the videos you made. I think you said you had like 10 or 12 bags, and that's when I knew that I like connected with you mentally there, because I have like 10 or 12 like different bags,
Right.
And like my fiance is always mad about that. She's like, "Why do you need like 12 bags? Just sell them all." And I said, "Well, they're like, I bought them already. I'm not just gonna like sell them." And they all have their different purpose, and I don't know.
No, that's the thing, right? You buy it and then you sit there. You're like, "Do I really need this bag?" And you're like, "Fuck it, I'm buying it anyway." You don't, but you
Exactly, yeah.
you just want it. So, what would your dream bug out vehicle be?
That's a good question. Does it have to be like realistic, or are we talking more like like fantasy type stuff?
Well, let's go with realistic first and then fantasy.
Realistic first, I would probably say Chevy Silverado with maybe like a 5-inch lift kit and 35-inch tires.
Okay.
That's
Oh.
probably my realistic, quad cab.
And what would be your fantasy?
Fantasy, I would probably do. Well, if I could get like a striker, like a military striker.
Okay.
The armored vehicles,
Well, listen, some of that stuff is actually armored vehicles. A lot of it's like on sale, like out west somewhere. I forgot where the guy was talking to me about it. I'm like, there's no way I could park that thing in the city. Like when he was trying to get me to buy one, I'm like, where am I going to park this thing? I mean, listen, I would find parking, but it'd just be obnoxious to have something like that in the city.
That'd be funny.
So now, basic. Well, this is a basic question for you. I know the answer, but most people don't. Do you hunt?
Yes, I do.
And do you fish?
I do fish. I don't fish as much as I used to. Now I do more hunting than fishing. But yeah.
So the answer to my next question: what would you rather do, hunting or fish? You just said it, hunt.
Probably hunt. Yeah. I would say the thing with fishing is you got to catch a lot of fish, and
That's
you're
true.
hungry,
Yeah, that is very true. All right, so the shit is on. At what point do you bug out from where you are right now? What would be your trigger to leave?
The thing is I live within driving distance to New York City, so I mean, you know where I am. So I live in an area where people come up here on the weekends to, go hiking, go camping. So what would concern me is if there was a big situation, a lot of the people from the city would flood out to my area and start to crowd the area. Maybe some of the more worse elements of society, if they get desperate, they may head up this way and start looting or breaking into people's houses to get supplies. If it got to the point where, I knew that I could not defend my family or myself anymore, it was just too much, then I would have to bug out.
It's a good answer, because a lot of people
stay as long as possible. I'm not one of those people that's like, bug out at any. It has to be, because I have everything here. I have all my preps. I have 6 months plus worth of food. I have water. I know the area. I have home field advantage. You know what I mean? If somebody's gonna come up here and try to do harm to me, I know the terrain. I know all the little nooks and crannies, so I have the advantage. If I bug out, I'm going to be putting myself in a place that I don't really know that well,
That's fair enough. That makes a lot of sense. John Mingus, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you for the donation, guys. And here's the other thing with the donation, guys, moving forward. I do appreciate them, but I would rather you guys spend the money prepping, buying more canned goods or whatever it is, because I don't like what I'm hearing that's coming in November or after the elections or right before the elections. I'm hearing three things: something big before the elections, and something after the election, and then at the end of the year. So who knows what it is? I mean, maybe we're just overthinking with negativity, but nonetheless, I think we should just keep prepping. So again, appreciate the donation, but if you especially if you're hard up, don't worry about it, guys. keep getting canned goods or whatever you need to keep your family fed. All right, guys? So thank you for that. All right, so what are your predictions for the rest of this year?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think that the elections are going to be unstable. No matter who wins, whether it's Trump or Biden, I think that one side is not going to like the outcome of the other side. So I think that's something that we got to keep an eye on, obviously. And then potentially the virus is coming back. I just read an article today that in Europe they're having an explosion in cases in Europe. So there's a lot of countries in Europe now that may be locking down again. So the virus could always come back. That's something that I think from the beginning when the virus first happened, I always had this feeling that we would have like an initial wave, and then I think everybody would kind of slack off a little bit because the virus would go away. And people would think that everything is okay, and then it would come back again. So that's kind of something that I'm concerned about. And then the economy, I think that there's a lot of people that are still not working. There's a lot of businesses that permanently shut down. Like even in my area, there's a lot of businesses that are totally, closed up. Just look at all the retail stores, the gyms. There's a lot of gyms that are doing terrible now. So, economy, election, virus coming back, obviously China is always a threat, but lately they've been threatening Taiwan a lot. So could be some kind of flare-up over there that I'm concerned about. So those would probably be my big four things.
Well, you know what? It's funny you mentioned the flare-up because Brooklyn is having a flare-up in the area of Maimonides Hospital, and they're seeing a spike in some cases out there. So obviously it's going to go up. I hope it doesn't go up as bad as it did the first time, though. The one side of me knows that there's an agenda behind the scare tactics with this whole COVID. Yes, COVID is real. COVID does kill a certain group of people, but for them to make it like it's something bigger than like it's
Sure.
like it's a virus that kills like 30% of the population or something like that. That's pretty bad. And and one side of me, you look at the vaccines that they're pushing or they're trying to push.
Right.
It's just not that I'm annoyed. It's just like I'm like, dude, there's no way you're gonna give people a vaccine when a regular vaccine takes, I don't know, anywhere between 2.5 to 5 years to make, like a good vaccine, right? And now you mean to tell me you came out with these vaccines in less than a year, and we're all supposed to line up like drones and take them? So and there's obviously a money thing. That's the problem. It's a money thing. They gave all these companies the green light to make a vaccine, and now whoever comes out with it first, and a bunch of companies came out with it at the same time, right? Now they want their money back for putting all this man hour into this fucking this thing. So I don't trust it for to save my life. I already told the wife. I said if push comes to shove, we're homeschooling because the kids are not taking this vaccine. That's just because I see the little stupid tactics they're using to force us to get this vaccine. But listen, that conversation's for another day, if you will.
Right.
Because it's a long one. Well, listen, like you said, I don't like what's going on. Whether COVID spikes again or not, there's too many other things headed this way. Now, a couple people ask, "What do I know?" It's not what I know. It's what people are saying, and some of it's plausible and some of it isn't. Some of it's really outlandish. Supposedly, this deal Trump just signed with who the hell was it? The Middle Eastern, right? That deal. Supposedly, that's a biblical thing, but no one's really right. No one's elaborating on it. They're just saying, "Oh my God, this is the beginning of the end." And I'm like, "Well, fucking clue me in," But
nobody knows. Yeah,
you're right. Right, so then he had someone just said Sheldon Martinez just said Red Dawn. I'm like, listen, China attacking is always on the table. People keep thinking because we owe them so much money, they wouldn't do that. I'm like, that's bullshit. What does a loan shark do when you own a loan shark money, right?
Right.
He kicks your ass and fucking takes your hands, right? So I mean, it's along the same lines. I don't think China's going to attack, but I wouldn't put it past them. You know?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think even more plausible would be like some type of misunderstanding, because we have so many Navy ships in the South China Sea. China has so many. All it takes is like one miscalculation, misunderstanding, and then next thing you know, it could spiral out of control.
Well, yeah, because everybody has their hand hovering over the button these days.
Exactly. Right.
And Mark Olson, you're right. Some jobs are going to require the vaccine, which again, it's bullshit because they don't force it at our job. They give us the option to take the flu vaccine. So obviously, if they force us to take the vaccine, which I already spoke to a union rep about, they forced us to take the vaccine, they would fight tooth and nail. So unfortunately, I could talk about it until I'm blue in the face. I won't know shit until we cross that bridge, And a lot of people, as far as jobs go, nurses, doctors, we won't know until we cross that bridge. So we have to wait and see, right? Anyway.
I think the biggest thing to look out for that really concerns me that we should all look out for is if the virus starts to come back, right, and the cases start to rise, but they don't have a vaccine or the vaccine doesn't work, because there's a lot of studies that came out that showed that people get reinfected after like 3 months. So that, what are you going to do? Take a shot every 3 months, So one of the things that would be like a big trigger for me is if, let's say, there's no clear indication of a working vaccine. I think that's when you see like the stock market really panic and companies will start laying people off. That's kind of what I'm looking out for.
Well, that's the thing. Like you said, it has to be a working vaccine. Now, not for nothing, I'm not taking a vaccine on this bullshit virus. Again, the wife and kids were sick, and I was around them, and then I go to work, and a couple of guys were sick. I was around them, and I didn't get sick. So that right there tells me it's your immune system, or maybe it's the whole O positive blood thing. It could be that, right? It could be, but then I'm exposed, and then I'm out in the public helping people, and I didn't come down with anything. Whether or not I had the antibodies, to me, is irrelevant because it didn't affect me, right? It didn't put me out of commission. It didn't, stop me from doing what I was doing. Though some people say I could be a carrier, whatever. We have to see, but nonetheless, the vaccine is a big giant fucking no for me. So, and you know what? It doesn't even matter at what point it gets better. I'm not going to take it because I see the agenda and look at the players behind it, right? So it's just there's too many negatives behind it, and it's not even out yet, So that's the other thing. Plus, I don't think we're we can be a stupid nation, obviously. Idiocracy, that movie, if you ever watched it, we're headed in that direction. But there are more smart people these days than there were back in the 40s and 50s. So we question everything. That being said, I don't think people are going to line up to take this shot, whether it's their job or not. They're probably going to quit before they fucking take this vaccine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So here's a bigger question. I love this question because it's there is no wrong answer to it, obviously. And I think you answered this question on my community page. But if you came across an obvious prepper stash, an emergency prepper stash, would you take it or leave it?
That's a kind of a gray area question. It really depends if I felt that it was like abandoned for a long time, and I feel like nobody's gonna come back and get it, and if my family really needed the supplies, I would probably take it. But if I I was well fed and I had everything I needed, and it looked like it was pretty, fresh, like somebody's gonna go back and use it, I probably wouldn't take it. No.
That's a good question. I know, it's funny because I said the same thing, but here's the one thing I tell everybody across the board is, if you have kids and they're starving,
Right.
they're definitely taking it. It's just,
Right.
and that's why I guess we prepare to avoid doing shit like that,
Right.
But,
Right.
we shall see. Now, what is your favorite? These are, really basic questions, just to break up the monotony. What's your favorite prepper movie or movies?
Okay. I have a few, but I would say the one that really stands out is American Blackout. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
No, not at all.
It's on, if you go on, it's a National Geographic movie. The National Geographic Channel made it, and it's about an EMP. It's called American Blackout. It came out like 2012, I think.
Okay.
So that was a really good one. I like that a lot. It has it follows a couple of different people and how they survive an EMP. So there's like a kid that's like looking for his mom. Then there's like a group of students, and it shows like how different people navigate their way through the EMP. And then it shows how society starts breaking down, and people are like trying to literally kill each other there was a guy that had like a can of corn, like canned corn, and some guy was walking by the street and saw the can of corn and tried to like kill him for it. And then like right when everything starts to get really bad, all of a sudden the power goes back on, and it's like,
I did see that. I did see that one. Yes, I thought that was pretty good. Yes, the can of corn, which lends to the whole ideology. A lot of people seem to think with bug out bags that if your bug out bag is really tactical, they're gonna come after you. I'm like you just pointed out, they went after a dude with a can of corn in his hand, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of bag you have in your back. People are going to take what you have because they want it. I mean, listen, they rob old ladies out here in New York for $50 goddamn, right? An old lady.
Yep.
They'll take whatever they want. Your bag is not the deterrent, is not the catalyst for them wanting to rob you. It's the fact that they just want it, or they need it, or they're hungry, or whatever the case is. Some people are saying Book of Eli. That was a really good, and Red Dawn.
Eli was good.
Yeah. All right. So, what about your favorite prepper book?
My favorite prepper book, if we're talking about like reference books.
Fictional.
We're talking about like novels.
Novels.
There's one book that I was reading on my phone. I forget the name of it. I'd have to look it up. It's about I think it's about like an EMP. I have to remember that. I think it's like Fall of America, I think it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, Fall of America.
I'll look that up.
Yep.
Definitely look that up. Which is, somebody just mentioned something on here, but I am releasing prepper critique movies. So we go over prepper movies, whatever it is, and then we critique the shit out of it. And as far as it being realistic for preppers to do, or what could have the character done differently. I had it on my old channel, then it was deleted, and I was going to re-release a lot of the videos I had already done, but when I watched them, I was like, they could be better. So 8 of those videos are going to be scrapped, and I'm going to redo them, and we're going to that's just going to be a fun series. That's all it is.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's just, better than the doom and gloom and the Civil War and the race riots and all this other bullshit. Just something to break it up, because we need it, right? We need this fucking breaking monotony. All right, man. Dog or cat?
That's a good question. When I was younger, I would have picked a dog, but now I'll probably pick a cat.
Really?
Yeah. I had a dog when I was a kid. She was awesome, but I guess like what I like about cats is that you don't get as attached to them. I think like dogs are more, like, you know what I mean, when a dog passes away, because dogs are more like people, and I feel like cats are more kind of like selfish, so they're also easier to take care of because you just put a little food out and some water, you know.
Yeah. It's funny. We had a cat here, and when it passed away, I was like, okay, not not because I didn't like it. Just the cat was independent,
Right.
Whereas
Right.
whereas my dog, it's always under us. No matter where we go, there he is, So of course, there's more of a connection with a dog than there is a cat. And not that I don't like cats. I just, I think a dog, and plus, a dog, depending on the breed, a dog's going to protect you. There's,
Right.
there's no cat breed other than a tiger and a lion that's going to protect you.
Right. Right.
Unless the cat's very vicious and starts jumping for the face.
That's a good point.
But so as far as food goes, what would be your go-to prepper food? What do you have stored more of? MREs, freeze-dried food, canned goods, homemade shit, whatever it is.
I don't have any MREs actually. All
Really?
I have is either canned food or freeze-dried food or like pasta and rice and stuff like that.
Okay, all right.
My go-to food would probably be I have like a couple hundred cans of chicken. So I would just, if I was like really hungry, I would just open up a can of chicken. It's very quick and easy.
All right. What is your means of communication should shit go dark?
I do have a ham radio, but it's a handheld ham radio, so
Okay.
the range is not that great. You could probably get like 10 miles out of it in hilly terrain. So probably my ham radio is really the only means of communication I have right now. I'm looking into possibly satellite phones at some point and maybe giving one to my fiance. So if something happens, we can have that satellite phone.
Okay.
If the cell towers go down, the satellites will probably still be working for a little while, until all hell breaks loose. Then the satellites will eventually go down too. So.
That's actually a good idea. I was looking to get a sat phone, but right now I'm taking an online ham radio operators course, just because, again, the whole gloom and doom bullshit, and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be ready and have this, because I've been avoiding the ham radio operators. I really hate that subject. It sucks, man. It's boring, but seeing what's happening and watching shit unfold, I'm like, I think I'll get certified, get a ham radio, and practice with it. So I'm not practicing with it when the shit's down, because I don't think your license is gonna mean shit when everything is said and done.
Right.
But I don't know. That's just something boring. I guess we have to do.
Yeah, you can learn from a lot of good people that have been doing it a while. So like. There's a lot of people that do it so long and they're just technically very smart. And, you have any question, they can tell you anything. That's really useful.
Well, I'm definitely going to need the help in that because I am an idiot when it comes to that shit. Especially the numbers, the whole, the megahertz and this. They explain that shit at my job and I'm like, the fuck did he just say to me? I'm bad with it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like UHF, VHF, 2 meter, 6 meter, all that.
Yeah. Again, see, even what you just said, I have no clue what that means. I'm just like, okay, I just nod. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, because I don't know. Now, question: do you? I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but do you pressure can?
No, actually, I've never done that before. It's something that I want to do though, but I have never done it.
Yeah, you know what? I was supposed to do it this week, and I got slammed with work, so it's still sitting here in a box. And I'm afraid if I don't get around to it, I'm never going to do it. But nonetheless, it's sitting here. I am going to Vermont next week, so I can't do it next week, obviously. But I am going to get around to it in another 2 weeks. But I have been reading the book, so that helps a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Are you going to do some videos on it, like once you master it?
Yeah, once I get decent with it, I will. I mean, I'd rather not because there's so many other preppers out there who do it and they're good at it. I don't want anybody watching me who just started and going, God, this idiot got it wrong, and then I kill a bunch of people because I fucked up. So I I'd rather leave that to the professionals, and there are a lot of people who've been doing it for years. I would talk about it, obviously, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't do a video. That's not my field, and communications is not my field. Those are two fields I wouldn't talk about because I don't know, right? And one side of me will go out on a limb and say I don't care as far as like communications go. I just want to talk to somebody or hear something, you know. Okay, guys. So second announcement. I see that Magic Prepper's on here, but I keep missing his comments. Actually, no, I didn't. But anyway, Magic Prepper and I are going to have a live stream tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. We are in the YouTube game. We're about the same as far as follows go. Again, he's level-headed. He's spot on. So stay tuned for tomorrow's live stream with Magic Prepper. I'm trying to get as many preppers as I can. Even those that don't like me, I'm trying to get them on here. As well, just for an interview purpose. That's all. But we will see. Again, guys, head over to NY Prepper's channel. Like and subscribe to that, please. As you can see, level-headed, well-spoken, right? He's not. He's not. You know, some guys when you hear them talk, you're like, "What the hell did this guy just say?" You know. He's good, and again, his thinking is level-headed. So it's a channel to follow, guys. Also, when is your next live stream?
Next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, guys. He'll have a live stream. Tune into his live stream. It's worth it, I think. A lot of the times I miss it because I'm at work or I'm editing, but I will be there Tuesday because, like I said, I'll be in Vermont next week. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, next week I'll be in Vermont, so I'll probably have nothing to do. So someone asked me, what is my shit hit the fan comm plan? Right now, my shit hits the fan communication plan is yelling out of a window because I don't have anything other than a Bofang radio. Like I said, I'm taking the ham course. I'm hopefully by next month I'll get a ham set up. Obviously, I'm going to need someone to help me with it, but nonetheless, that's where it's going right now. So. Ham radio is in the mix. You can buy ham radio at bearindependent.com. All right, thank you for that, Tom Craig. Thank you for that. I'll look into that. So I do have one or two more questions. What is out of all the things that can happen or that are happening this year, what is your biggest fear? Okay.
Economic collapse or, massive unemployment, something like that. Collapse of the dollar. Yeah, something with the economy. That's kind of my biggest fear, I would say.
Do you think the economy is going to collapse this year?
I don't think this year. I had a feel. Initially when everything happened, I thought maybe this year, end of this year, something would happen. I'm more concerned like after the new year. After the election, I'm more. I don't think it'll happen this year, but you never know.
Right, because the thing is like everyone's like the economy's going to crash, and now we're looking at it. We're like, well, again, unless an asteroid hits us, I don't see the economy going anywhere. But again, that's why we prepare, right? Because a lot of the things we prepare for, it's sort of like a guessing game, if you will. I mean, something's going to happen. We just got to figure out what it is and how to prepare for it. With the COVID, just because I don't want to bring anything in the home, I have this whole setup coming into the house now. I pretty much strip in the hallway and then get in the house and take a shower immediately, bag all my shit, and then have to do that every day I go in and out the house, which sort of sucks. Right now, I'm not doing that protocol, but I'm going to say in another week or two, probably another month, we'll be doing that protocol. So.
Wow, I didn't know you were doing that. That's a lot.
Well, listen, I again, to be fair, some people will compare the COVID to the flu. My kids have had the flu, and they've had COVID, and they've reacted way differently to this than they did the flu. I thought my son, I was going to have to take him to the hospital because I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh shit, he looks bad. So I'm like, and I'm, I'm watching him and listening to him throughout the night and checking on him, and then the worst, at his worst, the peak of the COVID, the next day he was like better. It was the weirdest thing, man. He wasn't like better like he was running around, but he was clearly better, visibly better in the face. He looked good. My daughter, same thing. She looked like shit, and both of them had the flu.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you can compare it to the flu, where it's the flu on steroids.
Right.
And they didn't, and they said most kids don't get sick, but these two did. These two did, and then the wife was the same thing. I was looking at her like, all right, we're probably gonna have to take her to the hospital at some point. And then we didn't. Again, at her peak, the next day she got better. So it was a bit strange. So now we're strengthening our immune system so that they don't get sick again. Again, I'm not worried for myself. I'm more worried for them. And there's even my extreme backup plan is staying somewhere else if this gets too big.
Comes back,
Right. I really don't want to, but if I have to, so be it. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right. So everyone's telling me, well, not everyone. People are giving. Guys, listen. That's the other thing too. If you have any advice, could you leave it in the comment section below? Because then I can read it later. Once the chat goes back, there's no way I'm scrolling through all of this after it's done, because I can't. That's just a lot to read. So if you have any comments about canning or ham radio, actually email me at angryprepper@gmail.com or leave a comment in the comment section below. Matt, they did not throw up. Wait, no, they didn't throw up. No one did. They just had bad fevers. Again, they look like shit. Like I seen them with the flu, and I seen them with this. It was definitely two different things. And we knew it wasn't the flu at one point. We just thought it was, something else. We had no clue it was COVID until well after it. Jay Blaze, for immune support right now, it's eating healthier, working out. I even have my kids working out. Vitamins, and trying to eat less of the junk. With kids, not that it's impossible, but we eat some junk, but we're eating less of it and eating healthier. And we're also upping our vitamin C, zinc, and elderberry. Elderberry is really good, guys. So, and vitamin D. Thank you, Salvador. Elderberry syrup is really good. There's a lady out in Jersey that makes it. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but I'll leave it in the comment section below for you guys to read. But this lady's stuff is really good. It boosts the immune system, and been giving it to the kids. Should COVID come back, do you have a protocol for yourself and your fiance?
I don't have like we never really did like a decontamination or anything like you do.
Okay.
But what I do is I have like a bunch of rubbing alcohol that I bought before everything happened. So what I do is I have spray bottles filled with rubbing alcohol, and I'll just spray my whole body down with rubbing alcohol. That's what I was doing when it was like in the peak of the pandemic. I would spray all my packages down. I would spray my whole body down with rubbing alcohol, and then wear a mask, obviously. But that's pretty much all I did. I didn't like have like a decontamination area. That's pretty much it, I guess. I have enough toilet paper, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, toilet paper, by the way, is running out again. So I'm.
Noticed.
Yeah, right. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I mean, like, we're not even like at the peak of this thing again, and the toilet paper's gone. I'm like, is somebody holding out or somebody hoarding this shit? Because there should be ample supply, but there isn't, unless people are hoarding it to resell it for more. They could be doing that.
That guy in New York City, he got like busted or something? I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes, there was actually two guys. Two of them were Hasidic Jews that had an absorbent amount of N95 masks.
Yep.
And then one guy was, I guess he was an Indian dude. He had fireworks. He had an absorbent amount of fireworks. He had some shit I've never seen before. If he could blow up a building, he had it all in his base. What you call it? And there was another guy, some hipster. He had like a bunch of hand sanitizers and toilet papers and shit like that, and they confiscated that from him. Which one side of me thinks is bullshit because they confiscated something from him he bought, Right. But he was also being a scumbag about it, right?
Selling it and stuff.
Right. So I mean, there's two sides to that coin, and I always say, listen, if the guy bought it, just give him his fucking money's worth back. If you're gonna confiscate it, it wasn't illegal. It's not drugs,
Right.
Though he was definitely doubling his, I guess his income, but he bought a $5 thing of toilet paper. He was selling for 10. I'm pretty sure toilet paper's not that low, but you get the point.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think he was, he was being a scumbag about it. But still, the guy bought it. The guy bought it fair and square.
Right.
Your vids are getting decent. Oh, okay, he's talking about Pepper now. I'm sorry, I'm reading. So, guys, all right, we have a couple of minutes left. NY Prepper, stay on when we go off the air.
Okay.
Right, so when I kill the feed, stay on, so I could tell you a couple things. Anyway, guys, this is the Q&A portion. Feel free to ask any question you want, and if not, I'm going to give everyone 20 seconds or so, and then we'll go off the air. But I know there was a ton of questions early, and I just couldn't keep up with them. I no longer look at the comment section anymore because there's just too many coming in. And then someone will always catch you with like a bullshit comment, like, you're an asshole. And then your eye focus on it. And I'm like, I can't look at this anymore,
Right, and it just draws your attention away and you get mad and you start writing responses.
Well, right. I mean, like, it's not that I get mad. It's just like, so now I'm looking at this, reading it, and then I'm like missing what you're saying, or, so it's just like, and it breaks the momentum, breaks that momentum really bad. Stop buying TP. That's a good one, Alex. I agree. All right, so I'm broke. Sophia, don't worry about it. Again, if I'd rather you guys buy more prepper supplies than super chat me. I think that's way more important at this stage of the game. If it was 6 months ago, that was a different story. But now we're rounding this curve, so I think it's time to just spend your money and shit that's going to help you get through this next couple of years. I don't think this is going to be a couple months. I think this is going to be a couple of years. Sincerely, Karen is asking you, NY Prepper, what is your best method of storing water? What is your method of storing water?
I have the green plastic jugs. They're like 5 gallons each, and I keep a couple of those filled. And then I also have the regular, not the. I have a water cooler. I have a couple of water cooler bottles stored up, and then I also have the military grade water containers. You probably know what they are.
Yes, yeah. The jerry cans, you mean?
Yeah, the jerry cans. Yeah,
okay.
They look just like a gas can. I have a couple of those.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really store that much water. I mean, I have a lot of water around me, so that's why I'm not really too concerned. So, and I have a well, so I probably have like 30 or 40 gallons on hand usually.
Okay. That's about what I have, right? And then the water bob if I have time to fill it up.
Right.
Possible poison. Richard the Observer, can you elaborate on that a little more about radiation event and possible poisoning? That would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, guys. So for those of you who are noticing the trolls, they're like moronic children. Just let them go with it, man. Let them say what they're going to say. Right. City prepping, since you are on here, do me a favor. Email me at angryprepper@gmail.com. I would like to talk to you as well. I would greatly appreciate that email. And so, guys, sorry, back to the trolls. they're part of YouTube. You know, these guys get up in the morning, their dick is hard. They're like, whose balls am I gonna break today? Okay, that's what they do. So, you know, again, it is what it is. They're gonna say what they're going to say, and they're going to do what they're going to do. I do appreciate you guys getting my back, getting my moderators back, getting NY Preppers back with going back at the trolls. But guys, they're, like I said, they're moronic kids. Just, you know, let them be. And if you ignore them, they die. You know, they go away. So it is what it is. City prepping. I have 3 moderators. I mean, I guess one of them could do troll duty. You know, that would be, I guess. Like I said, I can care less. Trolls are going to be trolls. They're going to do what they're going to do. You know, NY Prepper, he has trolls. Prepared Now, he has trolls. Or Prepper Now has trolls. Sorry. So we all have trolls. It goes with the territory. I don't care, guys. Prepper Now, for those of you watching, go to his channel, like and subscribe to his channel, please. North Shore Preparedness, go to his channel as well, like and subscribe. Those 2 guys are they're the oldest guys of the bunch, but they're really good at what they do. They know their shit. Especially North Shore Preparedness, who just started. Well, looks like just started YouTubing. I think he is he's straightforward and real with what he has going on, because he shows you exactly what he's doing in his home. So head over to his channel, like and subscribe to that. Sophia, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. So, NY Prepper, this question's for you. Any suggestions on alternative to firearms for protecting your home? For a chick, her, obviously. She lives in California, so any thoughts?
I get this question a lot, actually, believe it or not. I did a video on it, so I would say, I think I mentioned the fire extinguisher, depending on what class of fire extinguisher it is. You would probably know better about that, but I think a fire extinguisher is good, not only because you have the chemical inside, but you can also use it as the can itself. It's solid metal. You know, you can use that as a weapon itself. Bear spray is really good. Knives, you know, knives are really good. Sticks, you know, like you can go to Home Depot and you can get like an oak, like a 1.5-inch thick oak rod, and you know, cut it down to like 2 feet, and you have like a good club right there. I mean, you just have to improvise, you know, even just a rake, not a rake, a pitchfork, you know, things like that. Something that'll give you distance, you know, you want to keep distance. Especially if you're a chick, you want to keep distance away. You don't want that person to close the distance on you, you know?
Well, no, that's good. Also, wasp spray. That's another good one. There's like a certain amount of foot, like 27 feet or something like that. You don't need to be 27 feet away, but it's just good that it has that range. I am going to do a demo on that. I was debating if I should use my son, but that would be a bad idea. So I think I'm just going to use a dummy instead. But imagine the amount of fucking phone calls I would get behind that and arrested. But he would probably do the spraying on the dummy, and we would just demo it that way. But yeah, that's actually a good advice. So thank you for that. So again, guys, let's see. I'm sorry. I have like all this shit opened up and you know, whatever. So guys, we have hit the hour mark. We are done for the night. Thank you, NY Prepper, for being on tonight. I appreciate it. Again, love the background. I got to do something similar to that. But I live in an apartment. Tomorrow night, guys, again at 9 o'clock, Magic Prepper and I will be on for a live stream. It'll be the same thing. Same questions, maybe a little different, but we're gonna have a good live stream tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. And that's 2 live streams in one night, which I don't normally do, but such is life. So actually, starting tomorrow night, that's when I'm gonna have those commercials for the freeze dried. So that'll be my first go at it, and we'll see how that works out, guys. All right, so guys, other than that, do me a favor, like and subscribe to this video, or more thumbs up to this video. That would be great. Or thumbs down, whatever makes you happy. Head over to NY Prepper's page. do me a favor and like and subscribe to his channel and the previous channels I just mentioned. Alright guys, thank you for watching.